Hey everyone, welcome to episode 28 of another gaming podcast. I am one of your hosts, Dustin Kreis. Joining me is one of my other co-hosts, the always well-prepared Steven Stevens. Steven, how are you doing tonight?
Doing okay, a little sad. But hey, it is Nintendo Day, so we're gonna tackle some stuff that's been
Nintendo Day.
happening, and it's a great day so far until just now. But doing good.
Also joining me is my other co-host, the beautiful, the charming, the lovely Chance Doomways.
I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty.
You feel pretty. And bringing back guests for an episode after having an episode off, we have with us none other than Jason Bawesomeburf. Damn it! Fuck. Jason is here. How do you say that? How do you say that name? Did I say it right the first
Jason,
time?
can we use your name? Oh, too late.
Yeah, we already discussed that, Steven. Remember how I said you were well prepared?
Yeah, because I'm so prepared I missed it.
It's Bawesomeburf. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Bawesomeburf.
Yeah.
The Bawesome one.
Yeah.
Or just Jason.
Well, we're going to be going with Jason because I've already fucked up the YouTube handle already, so.
And if you guys might remember,
But anyway,
a few episodes back, I got a big delay too. Is everything just falling apart in this episode?
I think we're okay so far. Yeah.
All right.
We'll see.
People remember a few episodes back, I did mention Jason and do one of my quick shout-outs that I was doing on that episode. So we all three of us highly recommend his channel for you guys to go check it out. But if you haven't, Jason, why don't you tell us about your channel, man?
Oh, okay. Basically, what I do on my channel, I started off doing like top 3 Tuesday video responses back when YouTube did video responses to a guy named EdT1138, and that's actually where I met Chance and several of your guests on the podcast as well. I know SNES Mapper was one of them. Grub Guns done some of those top 3 Tuesdays as well. And, after that I did some pickups and some gameplay videos, and they were all pretty much shit. And, and one day I just decided that I was going to start doing game reviews for, basically like RPGs and kind of titles that not a lot of people may have heard of, and have been pretty much doing that ever since.
I used to really like your Lego videos that you had on your old channel. That was pretty cool too.
Well, I still do those on the old channel or the other channel, but this one's all for gaming here.
All gaming, all the time.
Except
so when you say that, I think we do have a little bit of delay. Oh well.
Yeah, I think there is too.
When you say that your gameplay videos were shit, were you like some of my gameplay videos when I try to do it, which is you put the camera in front of the TV and record it that way, or did you actually do like a capture device?
No, I just put the camera in front of the TV and just talk during the first 10-15 minutes of the game, and it didn't work, so I stopped doing that.
You spend more time like trying to focus out just focus in on the screen itself and get things sharp than you do actually doing the video. It's terrible. It's a terrible way to do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but it's fun though. Like I've done a few of those too, and they're not like the greatest videos, and they're certainly like the least watched on my channel, but they were fun. I liked doing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus,
I think plus it's really hard for me to like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, we do have a delay. Wow. I was just going to say I don't understand how these like Let's Players get like 250,000 views and all that kind of nonsense. I don't really watch a lot of like Let's Plays unless I'm like stuck in a game. I need to see where I need to go. That's the only time I'll watch one. So it's part of the YouTube culture that I just don't understand.
I watch a ton.
Yeah.
I'll watch a walkthrough occasionally, but I'm not really into the Let's Plays. Like, I'd rather just play the whole game myself.
I've often watched, like, Let's Plays of games that I've already played, just so I don't have to play them again. I can just watch somebody play it and see how they played it and kind of, catch their commentary and stuff on it. I really like there's a few channels that I watch where they'll trade off, like, playing the game, even if they're in, like, different parts of the country, just like, this person goes up to this point
That's
in
a
the
cool
game,
idea.
this person goes up to this point of the game, this person goes up to this point of the game, all while they're having, like, a Skype call, over the whole thing. So it's a long process, and you gotta want to watch it. I mean, otherwise it'd be just boring as hell.
I do find it tough to sit and watch a Let's Play, though, if it's, like, way too long. I don't know, I can't get into that, depending on the game and stuff like that. Now, watching people play fighters and stuff, like me and Chance have talked about in the past, that's a different story. I can watch that stuff all day long.
Though.
Yeah.
That's almost like watching a sport, though. Like, it's
Esports.
current. It's happening at that moment, it's competitive. But what I'm talking about is, like, just people playing a non-competitive game. Or even, like, speed runs. I like to watch speed runs, too. People just blast through these games, as quick as possible. I find that really entertaining.
Speaking of entertaining, Jason, we would love to hear about some of your greatest forms of entertainment in answering the big three.
Okay. So, favorite game, that's an easy one. That is Xenogears for the original PlayStation.
Ooh.
Nice.
It was the third RPG I played. And, it just had such a deep story and deep characters. And the villains were even really fleshed out as well. It wasn't just your basic, like, this guy's evil because of one thing that happened in the past. Like, they actually had some depth to the villains, which is something really cool that you don't see a lot of in older games like that. And, amazing soundtrack, just amazing story. Yeah. I know a lot of people bitch about Disc 2, not having much gameplay. I was okay with it because I was just so into that story that, it didn't bother me at all.
So are you a fan of all the rest kind of like Xeno games, like Xenosaga, Xenoblade? Are you keeping up with the genre with them?
I love Xenosaga. I know a lot of people, like Xenogears fans, always say that, it's not as good, but I enjoyed it. Xenoblade, I kind of wanted to play that at first, and then I heard it was going to be on the Wii, and I was kind of less interested because I didn't have a Wii at the time. And then I heard it was an action RPG, so I was even less interested. And then I heard it played like Final Fantasy XII, so I was even less interested. So, yeah, I did not enjoy Final Fantasy XII or any Final Fantasy game after 10.
You like 10, though, right?
Yeah, I like 10.
Good. Whew.
We just won't talk about 10 2, though.
Oh, yeah. No, that doesn't exist. I don't know what you're talking about. What is 10 2?
It did have good music. That's all I can say about 10 2. I didn't get far enough
in the game to hear any music, so...
I'm like inside laughing every time I see your Skype picture pop up, Jason, with that Lego cop. It's just kind of funny. Every time I see it pop up.
That's Good Cop from the Lego movie.
I love that movie, man. That movie's hilarious. Speaking of movie, why don't you go ahead and answer the second one?
Okay. Favorite movie is not as easy. I do watch movies, just not a ton of them, and it's just not something I ever think about my favorite one. But for the sake of having an answer, I'm going to go with Fight Club.
Nice.
Ooh, there's a choice. Yeah.
I don't think anybody will complain about you picking that movie.
Good.
When movies with like great endings like that you just don't see coming are just awesome. I love them.
Yeah, me too. I love like twisted, messed up movies like that with the big twist endings and stuff.
Yeah.
Another one I really like is From Dusk Till Dawn. For like an hour, it's kind of like I don't want to say Natural Born Killers-ish movie, but it's kind of like that in a way. And then, the last half hour is just like, what the fuck is going on?
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Vampire strip club movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Never seen
movie, a friend of mine kept raving, like, we're going to watch this one night. We're going to get together with some friends. We're just going to watch it. So this was back when people still used VHS tapes, even though, Chance, you still do. I know. No
I was
hate
gonna
against
say,
the
what are you
VHS.
talking about?
But
That's how I saw it the first time.
that's
There
how
you
I
go.
saw it the first time. We all gathered together and watched it, and I thought that was one of the dumbest movies I've ever watched.
Boo.
I just could not get into it for some reason. And see, that was one where one of the kids died in it, right? Or like the teenage dude.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That kind of threw me off. Like, I was like, "Whoa, a teenager died. That's pretty cool. You don't see that too often in movies." So he took a risk. Not that it's cool to see teenagers die, but I mean, you just don't ever hardly see it in a movie. So unless it's like a love story and it's someone with cancer and they fall in love and then someone dies in the end, that's when you see that happen. But anyways, moving on.
Spoilers.
Recording artists. Go ahead.
This one is actually an easy one, and
Opeth.
that is good. Hey, good job. How did you know?
I knew it.
Basically, I heard Opeth about 5 years ago, and it's like this death metal band, but they are so different than any other death metal band out there. Well, actually, I don't technically know their subgenre name. I just consider them death metal. But they combine like different elements of like folk music and just the way they like structure their songs and everything, and they can have like a really dark, heavy part and then just a really light, clean part, and just the way they construct everything is amazing. And I've even had bring the Clean album Damnation to work with me, and I have a like little old lady saying, "Wow, this is a great album. Who is this?" So yeah, it's really cool. It's a really hauntingly beautiful album, but I like their heavy stuff as well.
I'm waiting for someone to come on and say their favorite thing to listen to isn't music. It's that like whisper sound stuff that's all hot on YouTube now. What's that called? You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
What is it? ASMR?
Yeah.
That stuff?
Can someone please explain that to me? Because it's like the weirdest thing I've ever heard of.
Well,
Is that a hipster thing?
Is that a what?
I think he said, is it a hipster thing? So, Chance, you being the expert, let us know, man.
Know.
I'm the hipster.
No, I'm just playing.
Oh, thanks, Chief.
Like I'm one of those people that respond. Oh Jesus. I'm one of those people that respond to that. Where like if I'm sitting in a hospital waiting room and like I close my eyes and someone close to me is like reading a magazine and you just listen to like the pages turn, it like, I don't know, it makes like your skin feel tingly. It's a weird thing, but you feel very relaxed and very calm, and it's a very nice thing. Now, this whole YouTube thing's taken it a bit far, but at the same time, it's no different than people who listen to like CDs of the ocean to go to sleep and things like that.
Okay. And
Yeah.
just for
remember,
an explanation, I'm going to explain to people. It sounds like we have a delay for Jason hearing us, and then Dustin has a delay from hearing Jason and everybody. He's at someone else's house. I don't know if you already told him. You were at your friend's house. Yeah. Dustin is at a buddy's house for a Smash party. So he's in another room tucked away while they're all having a blast out there playing Super Smash Brothers on the Wii U. So we're having delays go all around. People are out of their element. So if people just hang patient with us, and we'll try to hang patient with each other and get through this.
You won't even notice it on the recording. The silence will get taken out.
Yeah. We'll still hear each other
walking
on each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So
what we'll do is, great musical choice. What way we can break this up now is I think I have fixed the mother bass moment. And I'm going to give it a try. And if it fails, we can just cut it out right here. Anyways, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, open your ears for the mother bass moment. All right, everyone. Are you ready for Mother
Yes.
Base Moment 2? I hope you're excited. I'm excited because I'm just excited to see if it works.
See, I thought that clip was tied into. Okay, never mind.
No,
Continue.
there's another clip tied into the ending. But here we go. Let's see if this works. We're gonna go ahead. Mother Base Moment 2. Will it work? Yes.
Listen, I'm one for the holidays, but I gotta tell you, these Charlie Brown holiday specials are by far the most freaking depressing things I have ever watched. As a kid, I enjoyed them, but you know what? This kid is like... This is like the 5th time I've tried to do this. Every time I start talking about Charlie Brown, the cat gets upset. Charlie Brown! Charlie Brown! Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown? Snoopy. I can't. I just can't. Anyway, the point is, Charlie Brown holiday specials are so freaking depressing. It's like... I can't. This has been a Mother Base Moment brought to you by Alex, Return to Mother Base, Hi, and Mischief the Cat. Shut up!
How in God's name can that human being be from this planet? How can he? Does he have no conscience? Does he have no heart? Do you have no soul? You son of a bitch! Do you realize what you've just done?
All right. There we go.
Whatever that last thing was, it didn't work.
It worked great because he was supposed to say how depressing the Charlie Brown Christmas specials are. So what have you done?
Which is a crime against humanity.
So that's what Jim Ross was saying. How on earth? What is this person doing? Anyway.
Oh, well, see, I couldn't understand a word Jim Ross was saying. That's what I meant.
People are gonna be, half the audience is gonna be like, "Who was that?" Even at the end. But anyways, we won't let that take away from the Mother Base Moment, which I'm so glad I was able to get to work for you guys because that's what delayed us for 30 minutes of starting tonight.
That was pretty good. Though. That cat.
Go ahead, Dustin.
The cat has the right of it. I was going to say the cat has the right of it. Whatever he was about to say should have been interrupted.
And if anyone was interested, the music used for that was a Mother Base choice, Super Robot Wars OG, Steel Beowulf. So you can thank him for tonight's musical choice. But anyways, we get started in some heavy topic here. First and foremost, we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Today it's being dubbed as Nintendo Day around the interwebs because today they had some huge releases. They had Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U come out today. They had Pokemon. What are they called? Chance? Omega
Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Alpha Sapphire. There we go. We also had 12 Amiibos released. Plus, we had 2 new 2DS's released to go along with the Pokemon games, and just a wide variety of Nintendo stuff. So it's been Nintendo's pretty much owned the day in most households, whether they picked up Super Mario Smash Brothers or whether they picked up Pokemon today. So what does everyone feel about? I mean, it's a pretty big day for Nintendo. A lot of naysayers still out there about Nintendo, but today they held it down pretty well.
Yeah, I went into
you're on the delay, Dustin. Yes, you go.
I was going to say I went into GameStop to pick up my Smash Brothers, and I was not going to pick up any of those damn Amiibos. But then I started looking at them. I was like, these things actually look pretty awesome. And I got Link, I got Samus, I got Mario, and I bought the Wii Trainer because I thought Bruno wanted it, but apparently he found it at Toys R Us or something. So I got a little haul of the Amiibos. Sell that shit? Yeah. Apparently, I guess what? Are they expensive?
I was going to say the Wii U Trainer one is like going to become like impossible to find. Like, so I don't know where I saw that, but like somebody had said that, like even like a GameStop person said that Wii U or the Wii Fit Trainer one is going to become that one that no one can find.
Well, good. I have it, and I will.
There you go.
I will watch the price. Yeah.
Sit on it for a little
There you
while
go.
and sell that shit.
That
See, I think
that's going
that's
to be
weird.
the entire.
You go, Dustin.
Yeah, it's a weird. Because I was just going to say that's going to be the entire comment section for this episode. Is dude, show me the Wii Fit Trainer. Show me the Wii Fit Trainer.
I'm looking on eBay now, and the price on it isn't too high right now, so people still got it pretty cheap. And I have a bunch in my area.
All right.
But yeah, I don't know why. I think Nintendo's going to keep them pretty stocked. Bruno
It's
just
only
sent
been one
Probably.
day.
yeah. He
Yeah.
sent a
One
picture
day.
of his little collection, and he got everything he needed. So I think he's a happy guy. So Chance, you said your Pokemon came in today, or is it coming in the mail sometime next week?
It was supposed to be here today, but because I pre-ordered on Amazon, and it was supposed to have showed up on my doorstep today, but unfortunately it did not. So I'm expecting it maybe tomorrow or Monday.
Was that supposed to be one of those release day guaranteed items, and it just didn't get there? Or were you kind of hoping it was going to be there? And I think he got up and left. Whoa,
Sorry,
Jason!
Did we lose him?
It was on mute. Sorry.
Oh, there he is.
It was supposed to be a release day thing, like where I got it today. But I mean, on one hand, I'm like okay with it because it's like whatever, it'll show up in the next couple of days anyway, and it's not like I'm gonna start it right away. But it's like I have Amazon Prime and I expected it on release day, so what the hell? Where is it?
See, if you were close by a store like I was, that happened to me with the third Gears of War, and I went to Target and just bought it that day. So when the copy came in from Amazon 2 days later, I just took that copy back to Target and got my money back because I needed to play it on release day. But unfortunately, you're not really close to a store to do that.
Well, no, and it's like I said, it's not like I'm going to start it today anyway. I mean, I'm right in the middle of another game, so it's not like I would be going at it right away. But it's just the principle of it, I guess. It's like I'm annoyed because I wanted to have it in my hands today, but whatever.
I'd be too. And Jason, you are not a Wii U owner yet, so how do you feel about today? Are you a Pokemon fan at all?
I do have Pokemon Diamonds. I haven't played much of it, but I like what I've played so far. I probably will get the Pokemon games sometime after the holidays. The Super Smash Brothers is one I'm definitely looking for on the Wii U when I get my Wii U next year. I've heard about the 3DS one breaking like the circle pads and stuff, so I'm kind of hesitant to buy that one.
Yeah.
And as far as the Amiibo, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as those go, I'm really not interested in any of those like Infinity or Amiibo or Skylanders things. Just not my kind of thing.
See, I wasn't going to be into them either at first, and then it's kind of like what Dustin said in the beginning. It's actually some really well-crafted little figures here. They did a really good job with the detail and stuff on them. And the characters I do really like, I wanted to pick up. Like, I want to pick up a Little Mac. I bought a Marth, a Samus, and a Mario one today. I just wanted to be able to have the characters that I like. But then hearing all the talk about there's some rare ones out there, that kind of got intriguing as well. But I think there's not going to really be any rare ones. So, but they are pretty well detailed, wouldn't you say, Dustin, like the figures?
Did you ask me a question?
I did.
Oh, so they kind of cut out. I didn't.
Okay. Wouldn't you say the figures are pretty detailed? The amiibos, like they're pretty good.
Oh, I mean,
figures?
I haven't been able to. Yeah, I haven't been able to get them out of the box yet. But yeah, I really like the kind of chrome paint job on the Samus one, and I want to find a Marth one, and definitely when they eventually release like Mega Man and Shulk is a GameStop exclusive, right? Like you have to get.
Yeah, he is.
I bet you anything they're probably sold out on the website too. So.
Well,
and I bet you anything GameStop's holding them back, and then like in a year they'll flood the market with them.
Well, if we want to, Dustin, did you get your hands on? You said you needed some training in it, so you did get your hands on playing a few rounds of Smash today.
Yeah, I got a few in. Yeah.
So, what'd you think so far from what you played?
Well, I mean, I am not like a professional Smash player. I couldn't tell you the difference. A lot of people hate Brawl, and I thought Brawl felt fine. So there you go.
Yeah.
Obviously I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think the game looks fantastic. The character roster is insane, and it's only going to get bigger as the game goes. The levels are really interesting. I played the Xenoblade level, which is like awful because like it has two like the stage is the main floor is at the very top, and then it has a pit, and then underneath that is just a straight fall down, and like the other platforms that you could like jump on are like on the extreme edges of the screen. So if you fall down there and you're not paying attention, you're just dead. So
the only thing good about that stage was the music.
Yeah. But I tried playing as Mega Man, and it's going to take some more learning to figure out how to play as Mega Man better. And I tried playing as Shulk, and Shulk just feels way too slow for how I like to play Smash. But really enjoying it. And I was talking to Chad, who is one of my good friends, and he was talking about. I asked him what he thought about the new Smash. And he says this is pretty much the definitive version of Smash now because it just has everything that the other ones had, and it improves on the things that Brawl fucked up, I guess. And, now that they brought the GameCube controller back for it, which I tried playing it with my Pro controller, and it's so hard to, like, you're so used to that X button being right above the A button on the GameCube controller that when you're playing with the Pro controller, it feels like it's so far away to jump. It's I need to go get a GameCube, one of those GameCube adapters.
Apparently those are running out too. If you don't find even the little $20 adapters, if you don't find one, they're.
It begs the question: why didn't they make these GameCube controllers wireless? Like, why couldn't they just, instead of like a Pro controller, why couldn't they just make a wireless GameCube controller?
Yeah, because they did release those special Smash controllers you can buy, and why didn't they just make those wireless?
Exactly, or probably to make you buy the pass-through thing, and it's make you buy more stuff, but they could have very easily just been wireless controllers.
Just some.
But it's
I'll go into my observations real quick. I probably put in more time than anybody today, because I got it first thing this morning when the store. And do you need to go get you something to drink, man? We can keep it tied.
No, I mean, I just have this dry tickle in the back of my throat, and I think I'm getting sick, and nothing is. It's going to be, it's going to be like the episode that we did way back in the day where I lost my voice completely by the end of the episode. It's going to be like that.
We'll keep it going. My brief, not brief, I spent a few hours today with the game, and I'm not a Smash player whatsoever. My history with Melee is maybe 2 hours lifetime playing it. I never played it on the 64, didn't play Brawl, so this is like me going into it clean, and I played with the gamepad. And Dustin, you were saying some stuff about the controller and people being used to buttons, and that's something I'm not having to worry about just because I didn't play it. But I did go into the controller settings, and I mapped out where I wanted my jump button to be, because the jump button is like X and Y, like you were saying, Dustin. It's too far away even on my controller. But I switched it to where my light punches are B and my jump is A, so it's right beside it now. So I don't have to worry about it. So it's pretty cool how they're letting you out the controller.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that and then having like your special button be one of the triggers. That way you have like control over everything. Yeah.
Now the downside of all this is you can map out the way you want your controller set on this game, but when you're playing through regular story campaign stuff, maybe the board game type level, you can't use your controller format in there. You have to use the default setup. Yeah. So you'll get used to playing with your controller like in a regular Smash match, but then all of a sudden you'll go to this board game or something and you have to use a default if ever you go into a fight. So it'll really confuse you if you're trying to learn it.
Yeah, forget that then.
Yeah, so I wouldn't change it if I was y'all. I don't plan on ever going into the board game again though, or nothing like that. But playing online was. Go ahead, Dustin.
I was just gonna say the board game. That's probably where you unlock some stuff.
It could be. I heard. It could be. I know classic mode. You unlock a lot of stuff in there, and you can use your control scheme in classic mode. The board game is some kind of interesting, weird mode where you're trying to get powered up as you go around. I don't know if you tried it out yet, and then you all kind of battle it out at the end, or even sometimes during it. But it just doesn't give you that option to pick your controller setup. It's really weird.
Yeah.
But online, everything played well like Mario Kart, except for one board, and Dustin already mentioned it. For some reason online, the Xenoblade board, I got it twice when I was playing. Things ran really slow in that game, and the board's just bad to begin with, like Dustin was explaining, and it is not a good board. And it didn't run too well online with 4 people. But I did like how you can go in, you have your team battles now, you have your one-on-one, you have just your regular old Smash. Go ahead.
I was going to say, have you done an 8-player game yet?
Can't do that online, and yeah, I didn't try it on offline yet. I haven't tried it.
You can't do 8-player online?
No, you can't. It's just either 4 teams or...
I was so excited.
One.
Shit. Yeah.
Dude, the Xenoblade board couldn't handle 4 people. I couldn't imagine 8 people on.
Yeah. Well, we were playing 8 people local here, and that gets pretty crazy.
I couldn't imagine. I'd see us 4 people playing a bullet hell shooter, and I just wouldn't know where I was.
Yeah, like I lost track of myself several times because it zooms back so far because there's 8 people on the stage.
Yeah.
So.
And some of those stages, there's just not room for 8 people, so that'd be interesting. Yeah. Unless it gave y'all just certain maps to play. I don't know. Oh, that would be crazy though. But the one thing I didn't like. I do like that they have a spectator mode chance, kind of like Street Fighter has the replay channel. So that's pretty cool. You can watch replays. You can even watch these live matches and bet your coins on them, which is pretty neat. What I didn't like was how I can't watch, like if Dustin was online playing, it'd be cool to watch him. That way, if we have a game night, everyone could come in and spectate on like me because I'm recording everything, or I can go to other people's matches and record it. But you can't do that. And I didn't like how... If you want to play together, say me and Dustin want to go in as a team and do team battles against other teams, we can only do it against other friends. We wouldn't be able to go online together and play 2 other random people in an online battle. I don't know how they could screw that up.
With it being Nintendo, yeah. Well, no, it makes sense with it being Nintendo because they restrict things down so much on the internet stuff.
I don't think you could do that with Mario Kart either. I think you could play against your friends if you wanted to, but you couldn't party up and go online together.
Now, if you're on the same console, you can. So you and Ernie tonight, Dustin, could both go in online team mode and play against random people. But it's just weird that I don't know. A party mode feature seems like a semi-easy thing to possibly incorporate, but I don't know. They just don't have that.
Yeah.
Weird.
Well, that's the way games are nowadays. They could probably just patch that shit in later if they wanted to.
True.
Well, and hopefully they do.
Yeah.
And apparently, Dustin, you said you expected the roster to be bigger, but apparently they said they don't plan any DLC characters for the game. So I don't know, but it's plenty big enough.
Well,
I mean, with the unlockables you have in it, there's still 10 characters to unlock. So, I mean, there's a ton of characters in there, and
I see them doing character DLC later on. I'm sorry. I really do. Because they probably are going to see how successful the Mario Kart DLC was. Because I think it was pretty successful. Everyone seemed to be really pleased with the Mario Kart DLC. So I think I would expect to see Smash Brothers DLC later on. Even though they're saying, they don't want to say anything right now because the game just released, but I wouldn't be surprised.
And it is someone's getting smashed over there.
Did you hear that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I would love for you to go out there during the heat of a moment. During one match, you're going to go out there. Yeah. I want to hear the heat of.
I guess I should explain what's going on downstairs. There's one TV with 8 people playing on it, and then there's another TV in another room with 4 people playing on it. So that's what's going on. There's two smashes going on at all times.
We're talking about Smash. Are you on your phone doing this or your iPad?
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
We're talking about Smash. How about you go out there right now and see what's going on?
All right. Well, it should be chaos, is what it should be.
I know.
But
Let's hear what a Smash Night sounds like live.
I guess I can go get something to drink too while I'm out here. But the one room's dead. Actually, it sounds pretty quiet down here.
Oh, the round just
it
ended.
There's only a few people playing now. Hi everyone. Your game is on the podcast right now. My thumbs are bleeding. My thumbs are bleeding. Yeah.
What's everyone think so far? Get a quick, what's everyone thinking of the game?
Everybody, what's your thoughts on the game so far?
It's good. It's better than Brawl.
It's better than Brawl. Good solid smash. Lucina, she's there! Yay! Why is no one picking Lucina? Yeah, there. Good job, Happy. Way to be a man.
So there we go, live from the Smash Brothers floor. Had some live coverage there.
Yeah.
All right, you can retreat back to your hole if you want after you get your drink.
Well, I gotta get a beverage. Yeah, because my throat is gonna go insane here in a minute. All right.
So Chance, you being
Lucina.
Mute yourself, boy.
Lucina's one of the unlockables, right? Because I haven't really. I've only been able to touch it for like a few minutes.
I think she is. Yeah, you do have to unlock. I know you got Marth, Ike, and Robin.
Yeah.
You don't have Lucina yet. You gotta unlock her.
That's my goal, is to unlock her. I gotta figure out how to do that.
Some of I don't know if Arrow's thing he put about getting ice climbers is real or not. I thought they weren't even in the game, or was he trolling us in the chat? Did y'all see that message?
Some about
I have no idea.
Mario in the freezer or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy that shit.
He was probably trolling, yeah.
That dirty Euro.
Yeah, you should go try to find it and read it out loud, like, 'cause it's so far-fetched.
Oh, I remember it. He said to unlock the ice climbers, you had to get your Mario amiibo frozen in an ice cube form, let it freeze, and then stick it on the Wii U gamepad.
I'd say that's a good way to ruin an amiibo.
But he words it so well, it almost makes it sound true.
He's an experienced troll.
He is very experienced. I was going to say, you being kind of the Pokey expert around here, Chance, for anyone who listens to the show and is looking forward to the new Pokemons, what are the new changes that you've seen in it just from what you've looked at, what they can expect?
Okay, here's the problem with me trying to do that, is that I have never played the original Ruby and Sapphire version.
Okay.
And I am just barely... I've been playing X for about 8 hours now, so I mean I've just barely scratched the surface of the prior to today's release, the newest Pokemon game. But from what I can tell, from what I've read, and what I can just personally tell from my experience, it's a great, beautiful game, the best looking yet. And, just from the demo, I can see that. Like, because I'm playing X right now, but I did play the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire demo, and the demo just is so awesome. And one of the minor changes that I've seen is, like, your character can now walk or run in all 8 directions instead of just up, down, left, right, which is, been the way it's been since, Game Boy. So that's a big thing for some people. That your movement feels, more real, I guess. Feels more like a modern game as opposed to a Game Boy game.
Yeah.
They did add a few things from what I can tell, because the first appearance of the Mega Evolutions is with X and Y, but they did incorporate that into the story of the original Ruby and Sapphire now. So that's, there is definitely a lot of incentive, even if you're a fan of the old Game Boy Advance games, to get this new version and play it, because there are some changes that make it really worthwhile. But if you're like me and never played that generation, this is so exciting, really. I mean, just to, play the newest game, but it's also an old game. So I'm a huge
That
fan of
whole flying on the
remakes.
world map thing now is really what has me like, wow, they're letting you free roam the world map now, like
Yeah,
in a Final
I don't
Fantasy
know.
game.
I don't know how prevalent that's going to be. That might just be in a small section. I don't want to burst your bubble because I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But because you got to do that a little bit in the demo, and that has to do directly with this new Mega Evolution stuff that I was just talking about.
Yeah.
But cause the demo focuses on that because that's the new part. So
Okay.
I don't know, like.
Well, I was watching a guy in the end game. He had just beaten the game. He beat the game in 4 hours, by the way. He was
Wow.
streaming it on Twitch, and he was just flying around getting all the legendaries he wanted.
Okay, well then there you go.
So I guess
There
it
you
does
go.
become open.
That's awesome. That's very good news. I just wasn't sure because I remember you mentioned that, but just from what I played in the demo, I wasn't sure that was going to be characteristic of the entire game. But that's
Yeah.
cool if it is. But it is once again possible that it's just in game too. I don't know. I can't wait to try it. I'm excited to play it.
Yeah. So a big day from Nintendo. Jason, you got some good games to look forward to, my friend.
Definitely.
Speaking of games, though, just to get you on in here, what are some games you're playing right now? We can go ahead and go over some games we're playing. So what are you dabbling in these days? I'm guessing it's retro, whatever it is.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, I'm working on WWE Day of Reckoning on the GameCube. It's a pretty cool game. It's kind of like the SmackDown versus Raw series or SmackDown. Really enjoyed it up until the last two matches. The previous one was like a mixed tag match, and it was nearly impossible to beat. And I finally got lucky, and my partner, pinned Triple H.
Nice.
And the last one, what?
I said nice.
Oh. And the last one is an Iron Man match versus Triple H, and he is just impossible to pin. I've hit like 20 finishing moves on him, and he just won't go down. He won't stay down. So I'm at the point where I'm about to give up on the game. But otherwise, except for those two matches, it's a great game.
All right, we got to talk about wrestling games then real quick before you move on. So hold on one moment. Day of Reckoning, I haven't played that one. Have you tried WrestleMania 19 on a GameCube yet?
No, I haven't. That came right before it, right?
I don't know if it was before or after, but I was curious whether or not in Day of Reckoning, did you get to create your own custom character with the music and pick the moves and all, or no?
Oh, yeah, you can create, I think 12 characters, and then you can customize the entrance and everything. And as always, you can select, the other wrestlers' music, or they have, 10 really lame songs to choose from that aren't tied to any wrestlers.
That's one of my main things in any of the games, which I know we've all played some WrestleMania 2000 or No Mercy on the 64, and I'm a master at those games now. I've been wanting to try to play it online through some emulators with people on the PC, but what you were saying about that Iron Man match, I remember. Were any of you guys able to legitimately win a Royal Rumble in the 64 games by taking out all 30 people? Does anyone recall? Dustin, I'll start with you. Were you able to do it?
I really don't remember. What I remember from those games mostly is making my own wrestlers and using them. It's been a long time since I've played one of those.
That is the best part, though, making and creating your own custom, coming out and getting to the ring, whose music you're going to pick. It's pretty awesome. I like doing it. What about you, Jason? Did you dabble in the 64 titles?
No, I actually never owned a 64. I had maybe an hour of experience with the console. But as far as Royal Rumbles and other games, I've never won one where you start, at the number one spot and go through all 30 wrestlers.
Yeah.
Never been able to do it.
Well, and I think it was in WrestleMania 2000. That's my favorite one. You start as a number one entrant, and you have to make it all the way to the end. Of course, that guarantees your title shot. And if you win it, it'll come quicker. But if not, you got extra storyline you got to go through to eventually get to it. And it was cool because I remember the one time that I was actually able to do it. I would keep restarting that match. I was like, I'm gonna do it, and I fixed my character up with some kind of some cheap moves to knock people out the ring a lot easier. So that's the way I would do it. What about you, Chance? Because we know you love that 64 controller. Did you ever play any of those wrestling games?
Nope, never did.
Oh man,
I played some of the
Now it's-
WCW ones, but I never played.
oh, they're
Really?
still at THQ. So
Were those ever released on like the Virtual Console or anything?
I don't know. I don't think they were. I don't think so.
Because those AKI wrestling games, they need to make like an HD version for like the Wii U or something. Those were really good. I mean, there's just something great about it. I mean, I don't know what it was. I mean, it was just you go out into the crowd, you grab a ball bat, wrap the barbed wire, and you hit somebody until they're bloody. You know.
These days, the way they look, I don't know if you guys have. I've looked up gameplay of the new WW 2K14, I guess it is, and man,
15.
has it changed so much. 15. The systems have
just came out
changed
this
so
week.
much in them. Yeah, it did for PS4 and stuff. Yeah, it just doesn't look fun anymore. Like these newer ones, they look too. I don't know, just not like back in the day. Jason, are you looking at any of the new ones? Just kind of comparing, or no?
No, I haven't. The last one I played was SmackDown versus Raw 2009 for PlayStation 3, and it was fun for a while, but I prefer the older games.
Yeah. And you are not recent now, but recently you just got some WWE Network action, correct?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You are now part of the WWE Network family, or have you discontinued your service already?
Oh, no, I'm loving it. $9.99. I was actually watching the 1993 King of the Ring today, and yeah, having a blast with it. I'm basically going through like from the Monday Night Raws from '93, and then just working my way up to like the whole Monday Night War. They don't have all that stuff up on the site yet, so I'm hoping to get that up there soon. But the new stuff, because I was watching Raw and SmackDown, you know, the modern stuff, and after about a month, I had to drop it because I just don't like it.
It stinks because some of their better wrestlers are like hurting out right now, so it kind of stinks that they're not on the show. But yes, there is a pay-per-view Sunday. That's where I'll be at Sunday night, getting to watch it for free this week. So if anyone wants to watch it, WWE Network is free for the next 2 weeks, I think. Survivor Series. But that old stuff, they actually have a Macho Man Randy Savage special coming up soon that I can't wait to watch.
Well, I'll definitely be checking that out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing that bugs me the most about the new Raw and SmackDowns is the camera work, because every time somebody lands a blow, like the camera has to do this thing where they zoom in on the person real quick, and it just looks so amateur and hokey, and I can't stand it.
Or how about when they do like a devastating move and they'll slow it down and then speed it up real quick to make it look like it hurt worse?
Yeah.
When they're showing the replays.
And then if a guy gets thrown over the top rope, like the camera work is just like so shaky outside the ring, and oh my god, I can't look at it anymore.
But we do have fond memories of the past with wrestling.
For the Game Boy Color, I'm playing Power Quest, which is a game I got from Pro B-Man 5 for a contest I won earlier this year. And it's a very interesting game. It's like a fighting game with like little RC robot models. I really enjoy it. It's got a good combat system. The only thing I don't like is that you have to buy your parts, and it takes forever to earn the money for them. So I've been kind of playing that off and on for like the last 6-7 months. And, you know, just do like an hour of fights and then put it down for a while.
Yeah.
Another one I've been playing is Phantasy Star 3. Just got Ren in my party, so I have 3 characters now. It's definitely not as good as the first 2 games, but I am enjoying it. It does have a nice, world map music. It's not very far into it, though. I'm like 5 hours or something. And
okay, so
I've also been.
Is it truly not as good, or is it just really different? Like, I've always wondered this.
It's really different. It feels, I don't know if it was made by a different team, but it feels like it was made by a different team. And from what I've heard,
it shouldn't have been Phantasy Star 3. It should have been just something else.
Yeah, like a side story or something.
They're having a good time there. I'm sorry. That is awesome in the background. I'm sorry. It just sounds great.
Yeah.
Keep on going, man.
Okay, no problem. Then I've been playing on the PSP. I've been playing Final Fantasy Tactics again. I've already beaten the game before. Oh yeah, and I just got Mustadio in my party, or Mustadio. I don't know how you pronounce it. He's a really cool character, but his usefulness is lessened by the addition of Balthier in the game, because Balthier is almost as powerful as the Thunder God. But I'm enjoying the hell out of that one. And also, tomorrow is the 20th anniversary of the Sega Saturn in Japan. So I'm celebrating with Darius Gaiden and X-Men vs. Street Fighter.
Oh, nice.
And that is it.
Ooh. Did I get booted again?
No. You're there. I was waiting for Jason
Oh.
to continue, but the delay, I guess, screwed him up. But that's fine. I wanted to ask you some questions, though, Jason. The PSP version of Tactics, is that your second time playing through that version, or you played through the PS1 and now you're playing through the PSP version?
I've played through each version once, so this is my second one on the PSP.
How do you... what's the best way to put this? I tried playing through it because I love the Tactics series, especially the Game Boy Advance ones. But the load times on that thing just were horrendous for me, and it just seems like it went so slow on the PSP for War of the Lions. Do you get that feeling, or was it just something you got used to, or what?
It definitely took some getting used to. There is a patch, a fan-made patch to fix that. I couldn't get it working on my PSP, so, it's still got the slowdown after every attack. But,
yeah,
it's not really a fast-moving game anyway, so it doesn't bother me personally that much. But I can see how it would bother, other people.
Yeah, just because it's one I really want to play through, so I'm trying to figure out if that's the definitive one to play, which everyone says it is, but just the slow pace of even the intro battles taking forever to finish was kind of killing it for me.
Yeah, and there are some sound issues as well, like some of the summons sound a little wonky. And then I know a lot of people kind of bitch about the widescreen ratio of it because they just stretch the screen, I guess.
Yeah.
Me personally, again, it doesn't bother me.
See, I wonder if that's something, because how you can download these PSP games on your Vita and on your PS3 sometimes. I wonder if that version actually runs faster, like on your Vita, or if it has anything to do with the processor in the PSP.
It might. Honestly, I don't know why the slowdown's there, because before the game released, they actually, the hacking community had actually ported the original Final Fantasy Tactics to the PSP, and, it ran just like the PlayStation 1 version. So I don't know why the one official by Square Enix runs like that.
So it sounds like you're a strategy fan. Have you played through Tactics Ogre yet?
Yeah, I played through the Knight of Lotus, which I loved, and then I played through the PSP one. I forgot what that's called, but I didn't like that one as much.
Together.
Really, the PSP one? You didn't like the PSP? Because I know Dustin, that's probably one he wants to play through. I know it's one I really want to play through. Chance, I know you got your copy, but is that a really, really long game? Like 80 hours long?
Oh yeah. And
oh man,
it's got a phenomenal story, but the thing I don't like about it is they kind of discourage you from changing classes late in the game, because when you change to a new class, it starts at level 1. So if you're in chapter 3 and 4, your characters are really, really behind, and you have to keep them away from the enemies so they don't get knocked out right away. And I didn't really care for it.
Okay. Well, it is one I'm going to still try to get through one of these days. It's a huge backlog. But one more question for you until we move on, maybe hear what Chance has been playing. You said you're playing through Phantasy Star 3 right now, and you do tend to play a lot of retro games on your channel. Was it something to where, as a kid growing up, you didn't have access to the consoles, or just back then you weren't able to play them, and now you're wanting to go back to play them? Or what's the drive making you want to go back and play Phantasy Star 3?
Well, I actually had the Genesis. It was actually my first game console, but I didn't get into RPGs. Like, the first one I played was Sword of Vermilion, but I didn't realize that that was a specific genre called an RPG. The first time I realized that I was playing a role-playing game was when I played Parasite Eve on the PlayStation. So now I'm kind of going back and playing all like the Master System, NES, Super Nintendo, all those old RPGs that I missed. So looking forward to working on like Front Mission and the Mother games or Earthbound, and Shining Force too.
Great Parasite Eve review, by the way. It's yours is one of the better ones on. It's actually one of the only ones on YouTube. If you look up a Parasite Eve review, you won't even get a full front page full of it. You'll get a bunch of Parasite Eve too, but not a lot on Parasite Eve. And you knocked it out of the park, Jason. So kudos on your Parasite Eve.
Well, thank you.
No problem. All right, Chance, what you been playing, man?
A lot and not very much.
A lot of a certain type of game, I'm guessing.
A lot of one or two games and then not very much else. Since the last podcast, I've played several things, but I focused most of my time on replaying Pokemon Red, and I finished that. I can't even remember now, like 20 hours maybe, 22, something like that. And I did most of what you could do in that game, and it's a relatively short game if you stay focused on it. But as a kid, you just don't care, and you're just kind of dicking around, doing whatever. So you spend a lot of time.
Those don't have legendaries and stuff, right? Like those don't have any. Yep. They do? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's where Mewtwo comes from. He's Gen 1 Mew and Mewtwo, and
I thought there was like a glitch or something to get him. Like you couldn't really get him in those versions.
The mythos of Mew comes from the first game, but you can't necessarily legitimately get him in the game, but they talk about him in the game, at certain moments, and
he's in the data of it, right?
Yeah, and he's there. He's just not necessarily a playable character. There is a glitch that you can do completely, without using any sort of peripheral or without, hacking anything. You can get a capture of Mew if you know how to perform the glitch. And
I have to stop you right there for a moment. Stop you just for a moment, because like you're about to say, probably you looked up how to do it. And this is what's crazy to me, mind-boggling, because what you have to do to get that is insane and so precise. And people did this back in the day without internet and stuff. The person who figured this out, is just amazing. You're an incredible person, whoever that person was.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So, well, basically, what you have to do to like trigger it is, and I don't know, all of the lingo, but whatever is in the code of the Pokemon, Mew, is one digit off of the code for the Pokemon Slowpoke. So what you have to do is like trigger a battle and then like press the start menu at the exact moment that the battle is triggered, and then teleport away from the battle, and then immediately walk to someone that has a Slowpoke, and beat that Slowpoke, teleport out again, and then take a few more steps, and then boom, all of a sudden a wild Mew appears. And it's like, okay, who in the heck spent this amount of hours figuring out if I walk to this place, teleport out, find a Slowpoke, and teleport again, I'm gonna find a Mew. I don't know how this came about, but anyway, there is a way to do it, and it does not involve a truck in the middle of the ocean, like all of the rumors that went around when we were kids saying you had to like surf south of a certain city and find a truck and then you'll find Mew. It's like, okay, that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's not true. But as a kid, one of my buddies had a Game Shark. So I had several Mews on my original game save, but because of that, because he had a Game Shark, and I cheated and got it. But it is, if you know how to do the glitch, I mean, it doesn't require anything other than, the time it takes to do it. But yeah, there's Mewtwo, and then the original 3 legendary birds, Zapdos, Articuno, Moltres. All 3 of those are there too. So really, I mean, there's a very small amount of legendaries compared to later games where there's just so many. But yeah, there is legendary, and those ultimately, as a kid, were really kind of what drove me to want to play too. Like, I just wanted these all-powerful Pokemon that you couldn't get till the end of the game. So
yeah,
I think that they're a really good device to keep people motivated. The coolest ones are not available till late in the game. So yeah, I beat Red and loved it. And all the while, I was still playing Heart Gold on the DS, and I put the most time into that, and I think I was, oh man, I can look here, close to 40 hours, I think. Maybe it was more than 40 hours. But I beat that, but I had to tell myself to stop, because there is, and I talk about this in my video, there's a lot to do in the game that's, I guess you consider post-game. Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that you can do to keep yourself occupied. And it's not that I don't want to do it, it's just that I don't want to spend the time to do it, because I'd rather go play something else. Even if it's another Pokemon game, which it is. But, I just decided to stop for that for now. And I
can't recall from your
X.
video, but you said when you beat the first 8, when you redo it again, is that the real ending, doing it again, or can you say you beat it doing it the first time?
Okay, you can really say however you want, but because you'll see, if you do what I did and to consider it beaten, you see the credits 3 times. So you collect 8 badges and you go fight the Elite Four. Once you beat the Elite Four and the champion, so it's actually the Elite 5, you see the credits roll right there. But then it saves your game, and then when you start back up, you're back at your original town where you started, and they tell you, oh, hey, now you can go over here to this area and collect all 8 of these badges, which are the original 8 from the first game.
Yeah.
So basically, it's kind of New Game Plus, but you are going to a new area.
New area.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's not the same it's not the same thing you just did. It's 8 new badges. So now you have, once you do that, there's 16 badges. But that part goes so quickly, because the first 8 badges take a long time to get, because there's other things going on. The Team Rocket stuff. You have to thwart the enemy who's trying to do bad things. So that takes up a lot of time and takes away from the main story of, collecting the 8 badges. But in the second half, you don't do that. You just go collect the 8 badges pretty quickly. And then as soon as you do that, then you can get to a new area called Mount Silver. And then once you go up to Mount Silver, you fight Ash. If you're a fan of the anime, it's Ash, but his name in the game is Red, who is just the main avatar character for the first game, who has Ash's Pokemon. He has a Pikachu, a Charizard, a Blastoise, a Venusaur, Pidgeot, and a Snorlax. So it's the same ones that Ash had in the anime, pretty much.
Oh, wow.
And he is super hard to beat. He is very, very strong. So once you beat him, then you get a new ending. You see the credits again. But you can also go fight the Elite Four a second time once you have all 16 badges, and they are immensely stronger. And then you beat them, and you get the credits again. And then it's technically beaten. Like, you don't have to do anything else other than collect more Pokemon if you want to.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's a pretty deep game if you want it to be. But at the same time, you could do as little as you want. You could get a team of 6 Pokemon and just level them up way, really high, very strong, and just blast through the entire game if you wanted to. or you could spend a lot of time collecting different kinds of different types and give them different abilities, and spend as much time as you want, be as obsessive as you want. And I think that's why so many people are such big fans of the game, because there are so many different plays or different ways to play it, and none of them are wrong. Like you can beat the game however you want to. There's no one Pokemon or two Pokemon definitively that you have to have in order to beat the game. So
cool.
Yeah, and then I started X, which is just, I don't want to say it's more of the same, but it's kind of more of the same. But it's just a new coat of paint. It's pretty much more or less a reboot of the series. It looks great. It's on the new hardware. It sounds great. It's a very good game so far, but I'm not very far into it yet, so I can't give hardcore opinions on it. But other than that, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare online when I can, when I'm not falling asleep in my chair. That's about it.
Nice. Well, Dustin, and other than some Smash Brothers today, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been trying to find time to play games, back to work and getting busy, and luckily I've been able to squeeze in a little bit of Tales of Hearts here and there, and I'm really enjoying it. It feels a lot more like old school Tales games. Like, it really reminds me a lot of Tales of Eternia for some reason that I played on the PSP. It's mostly because the combat, it's not as fluid as like Grace's or Zillia. It feels more rigid, I guess, with your attacks and stuff. But really enjoying my time with it. Actually, it has like a much more simple, like storybook kind of fantasy feel to it, I guess, and it's kind of refreshing, especially since like Zillia was very, technology heavy, with cell phones and things like that in it. So I've been playing that. Been playing Bayonetta on the Wii U, and really enjoying that. Really surprised at how good and how different that game is than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like a Devil May Cry sort of ripoff, and I guess when you kind of look at it, it kind of is, but it's not as action packed, I guess, as I thought it would be. Like, there's a lot of moments of just exploring these weird environments you find yourselves in, and it definitely has that sort of Platinum Games strangeness to it. That's really good. So I got that in the Bayonetta 2. It's like the bonus for buying Bayonetta 2. So that's a really good deal. If you guys have not played Bayonetta yet and you want to, pick up the Wii U version of Bayonetta 2, because you get Bayonetta 1, an improved version of Bayonetta 1 included with the game. Still trying to play Dragon Quest VII on my PlayStation. Well, I'm playing the PlayStation 1 version, which is called Dragon Warrior 7 over here. But I'm playing it on my PlayStation 3 on the big screen, and that makes the game, I mean, it was never really a pretty game to begin with, but blowing it up that big on a screen, and it just makes it look a little bit more awful. So I just got to Dharma Tower. It's Dharma Temple. So this is where the game really it opens up, because then you start getting the jobs, and then you start getting bogged down in the grind, and that's where you kind of leave off. So I'm really waiting to get a nice big block of time, because Dragon Warrior 7 is not something that you can just pick up and play for a few minutes. It requires some time investment. I put Mario Kart back in to break my other hand. There you go. I need to get PTO back. I went from having 220 hours of PTO to having 24. So, yeah.
Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, let's not do that quite
yet. You need the 3DS remake of that game.
We definitely need the 3DS remake of that game, because it would just be so much easier to play it on the go. Handheld gaming, I think a lot of people are in this boat where it's just easier to play a handheld than it is to play a console. I don't know what it is anymore about me being an adult, but I have such a hard time finding time to sit down and play a console, whereas I can always seem to find time to play a handheld. I don't know what
thankfully,
that's all
handheld gaming is improving, constantly. There are
exactly,
really good games coming out. They're handheld games.
Yeah, in all honesty, there's really no difference between handheld gaming and console gaming anymore, except for the screen size. That's really the only difference anymore. It's not like, the Super Nintendo and the Game Boy. There's a big difference between the Super Nintendo and the Game Boy. But what else have I been playing? Shoot, can't think. Still kind of playing Terra Battle on my iPhone, but I kind of got tired of it. I need to do a video on it, but I can't. I'm really scared at trying to describe how the battles work in this game because it's hard to describe without having a visual aid. And the storyline, there's a story there, but it just doesn't pull you in. There's not individual character, interactions or things like that. It's just kind of like your team. It's kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons story, and you're moving through these caves, and it just kind of tells you what's happening in the cave, and then you go to this little battle. It's a good game to waste time with, but it's Mistwalker. They made Blue Dragon, they made Lost Odyssey, they made The Last Story. This is clearly kind of beneath them, in my view. It's a fun time waster, but it's not what I would expect from a studio that made those games. So it's kind of a disappointment. I'm waiting for Dragon Quest III to come to mobile. If you haven't played any of the iOS or Android ports of Dragon Quest 1 or 2, I definitely recommend trying them out because they're pretty cheap on there. And they just announced that Dragon Quest V is going to come to iOS and Android as well. I imagine it'll be like the port of Dragon Quest IV. It'll kind of be like the DS version, but with touchscreen controls and things like that. But other than that, really can't think of anything else. I think that's it. Did I talk about the DLC for Mario Kart?
No, we didn't talk about that.
So.
Huh.
Yeah, I downloaded that and played through some of the tracks I played through all the tracks on 50cc, and the F-Zero track, just Mute City, it just made me want an F-Zero.
That music.
It just made me want an F-Zero game. Yeah. And,
I still haven't
Mario
played that
Kart's
series.
F-Zero? Oh, man. Get F-Zero GX for the GameCube. Whew. But the speed is not really there in Mario Kart, even though Mario Kart's pretty zippy at times. It's just, I need those big tracks and, flying around on them, and I just need an F-Zero, and I think we'll get one eventually once the Mario Kart hype dies down. I think we'll get a F-Zero. So, but that's, other than that, I got Smash today, and I'm looking forward to, spending some time in Smash and trying to relearn how to play the game.
Well, you touched on some that I played. I too have downloaded the carts for Mario Kart, and my son got to play them first, the lucky guy, before I could. But I did get my hands on it, played a little bit with Alex and some of his friends. That was a good time exploring just being back on Mario Kart Online again was really fun because I hadn't been there in a while, and it was a good time. And like you said, man, the F-Zero track and the music, just everything was great on it. And the little touch with rupees on Link's track and everything was awesome too. But I also bought Tales of Hearts and have been spending most of my time in that. Again, I kind of agree with you, Dustin. I think it's really great so far. And I think you can tell this was made for handheld. Like you kind of said, there isn't really a big difference in between them. But I think the areas are kind of smaller and shorter to get through, which on a handheld, you don't want to be in an area for 2 hours. You want to kind of get through it and move on. I think they are perfectly paced, like 45 minutes or so, maybe an hour if you got a lot of cutscenes. It's just really, I like how the design is of this game, of getting through them. And you said the battle did feel kind of archaic, which it kind of does because I find my character whiffing a lot when I'm going to attack or something.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as fluid. Like I
Yeah.
find myself missing a lot too. Yeah.
But on the good hand of that is I finally, after playing through a few Tales games, I've understand the combo system, and I'm nailing like 30 hit combos, man, like on some enemies, and it's pretty fun when you nail these huge combos on these guys. It's pretty neat. And I like their little over limit and art system. Their break system in this game where you can break a defense and chain attacks together. I think it's really cool. The combat's just a blast. The story, like touched on Dustin. Go ahead, Dustin.
I was just going to say I was really surprised at like how many options it gives you for the battle. It's just kind of unfortunate that it doesn't feel as fluid as say like Zillia does or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it feels like every time you attack, there's like a delay between the attacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it kind of does. Like an older school, like Abyss and stuff. It does kind of feel like that. But as far as the story, like Dustin mentioned, it is a simpler story, and I love these simple stories. It starts off with just this guy caring about this girl, and he just wants to help her, and I just love little simple stories like that. Of course, I'm at a point where more stuff is going down. It always happens in a Tales game. It's never what it starts off to be. It just always starts roller coastering from there. But I love the simple stories, especially after coming off something heavy like Azilia or something. It's nice to have a lighthearted story, like a last story. Like that was a very simple story, and I loved it. Other than that, a little bit more Dragon Quest II on the phone when I can, since my phone gets a lot of use for other things around here. But when I can, I grind out some levels in that. Still, like we mentioned before, definitive way to play it if you can. And other than Tales of Hearts and that, just Smash Brothers today, and that's about it. So those are the big things I've been playing recently. Beat Lords of the Fallen, but that feels like forever ago now. But I think that was after the podcast. But I have beaten that. But other than that, yeah, that's my gaming. It's gonna have a lot of Smash in my future, and a lot of Dragon Quest Inquisition, hopefully soon. That is my future. Yeah. So, anyways,
how about we Dragon Quest Inquisition?
Yeah. Or yes, I did. Dragon A.
I was like,
what's the title I haven't heard of?
Speaking of, Dustin, when does Dragon Quest Heroes come out in Japan? Because if it doesn't come over here, that's one I think we can import and probably play through okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to import it. I mean, I don't know if it's going to come over here, to be honest with you. I just, with the way Square Enix has been, I really don't know if it's going to be coming over here. But I'm not sure exactly when it comes out, because I know they've been putting up commercials for the console.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah.
Which that actually remind me, I am playing through. I didn't bring it up. Oh man, how could I forget it? Gundam Breaker on the Vita. Oh man.
Oh, I forgot about that too.
Of course, it came out to my house the same day as Tales of Hearts came out. Like I knew it would happen. I called it in the chat. I knew that would happen, and it did. It came to my house, and I popped that in first, and I just love that game, the system in it. Even in Japanese, I figured it out pretty quick with a few little, that picture Alex sent us, and with looking at some other things, watching a video or two. I mean, I am just addicted to that game. Gundam Breaker, you've heard it before from probably Alex and others. It does feel like, it almost feels like a Warriors game in a way, but I like the combat more in this game. And you're in a certain section of a map, you clear out the enemies, go on to the next section, take out a boss at the end, and it's like collect a gear grind. Yeah, collect pieces of gear for your suit, like sell them, buy new pieces of Gundam armor, and it's just so cool seeing my armor getting built up with these nicer pieces and building new things. Oh, I just love it. You can customize your movesets. I'm hooked on that game. I know you said you didn't get to put too much time into it yet, Dustin, but I can't wait till we all finally get online and play that together.
Yeah, I really like the premise that you're actually playing as the models, and there's the different scales.
You actually go into a store and buy the model kits if you want to get pieces, but that's takes a while to get those model kits that cost lots of money. But I love it. Good stuff. Okay. Dragon Quest Heroes. Let's see. When is this coming out? Oh, man. Pre-order? Oh, man, I don't have a date yet. Oh, well. That's fine. Or February 26, 2015. So we got a ways for that. I kept thinking it was holiday season for some weird reason.
But then you gotta wait a little bit just to see if they do localize it. But
Yeah.
who knows? I don't know.
Then maybe Dustin will have his Dragon Quest videos up by then, February 26th.
Yeah, if I ever find any time to film them, yeah, maybe I'll have them up by then.
See, you sent us that picture of all the stacks you had of videos you were making. I was like, man, he's gonna do a chain of videos.
And they're still sitting there. They are still sitting there.
Oh well. Well, let me see if I could do it this way. That stack of games will eventually create some memories for you, but we all have some gaming memories from the past, which brings us to our main topic today. I think that was a decent segue. Not as good as the first time. That'll be edited out. But our main grunt, which not sure how long we'll spend on it now, but our main grunt of what we're going to talk about today was some gaming memories that we had in our past, whether it's getting a game, buying a game, just a memory we had in a game, just anything to do with it. And it being the holiday season all kind of near that area, we figured we'd talk about it. So, Chance, we started with you last time where people wouldn't hear, but we're going to start with Jason this time. We're going to mix it up. Jason, what's a good memory?
Okay,
it can be a bad memory too. It doesn't have to be good. Just a memory.
Okay, this is actually kind of a bad and kind of a good memory, and that's when I got my first Nintendo DS. I had kind of initially thought of the DS as like a gimmicky console with, because I looked at my Game Boy Advance and I'm like, why do we need this extra screen? Why do we need a touch screen? This is stupid. And then they started announcing a whole bunch of good games that I was interested in, lots of RPGs, and I finally decided to get the console. So, I got the, and it was the original DS model, the ugly silver thing with was really clunky and uncomfortable and everything.
I know what you're talking about, yeah, the very first one.
And I picked that up with a copy of New Super Mario Brothers, which was an awesome game. And I played it for about 15 minutes, and I started feeling this severe pain in my left thumb. And for about a week or two, I had been experiencing some swelling in my thumb, and but I was just kind of blowing it off. And again, I blew it off, and I just kind of put the game down, went about the rest of my day. Next day, I wake up to do my daily routine. I make my coffee, and I cannot even hold my coffee cup. And I have like severe pain shooting through my left thumb. So I call into work, go to the hospital, and turns out I have a cyst on my left thumb. And, doctor tried to numb it up and stuff, and it wasn't working, and he tried to drain it, and like the pain was so severe that I almost passed out.
Oh man.
And yeah.
That dreaded thumb pain. Don't let it get to you.
Yeah. Basically, it meant my left thumb was useless for about 2 weeks. So, yeah, that brand new DS, I couldn't touch it at all for about 2 weeks.
Oh, no, the torture.
But I was able to play a bunch of PS2 games because I could hold the PlayStation 2 controller with my right hand and kind of rest the controller on my leg and then use my first two fingers for the D-pad or the analog stick. So, I ended up doing it that way and playing Gran Turismo 4, which was actually really hard trying to control the D-pad with your first
that
two
had
fingers.
To be interesting.
Yeah, it was a pain. And then I played through Soul Calibur 2. That game actually wasn't that hard. I, put like my first three fingers on the analog stick and, did all the moves that way and worked out well. I played through it several times. And the big game I played a lot of was Valkyrie Profile 2. And majority of that time of my time off was spent playing that game because, it was such a unique title, a really underrated series in my opinion. Especially the first two games. I hadn't played Covenant of the Plume, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. the story wasn't as good as the first one, but had a really great combat system, kind of like a mishmash of action RPG and turn-based RPG.
Yeah.
And yeah, for 2 weeks I had a blast playing that. And of course, once my thumb had healed good enough, I played the hell out of my DS and, played through like the Castlevania games, Final Fantasy 3 and 4, Hotel Dusk, all sorts of good stuff. So, yeah, my first 2 weeks with the Nintendo DS, I couldn't even touch it. Next.
Dang. That does say you, man. And Valkyria Covenant of the Plume, the only Valkyria profile game I have played, and it is very good. So whenever you get a chance to, it's an awesome one.
That's kind of like a strategy game, though, right?
More strategy, yeah.
Okay.
I guess since you had like a painful one, I'll go next with a painful one that you just reminded me of. This is a memory.
I was kind of reminded of that because of Dustin's recent injury, being basically one-handed for a while, so that kind of brought that up.
This came on a night where one of those days where my mom, I think it was a Friday or a Saturday, my mom was going to go out on the town and do her thing. So we were going to go stay at our aunt's house for the evening, possibly the night. And I was so looking forward to it because my aunt had a Nintendo Entertainment System. At this time, don't believe I had a console or nothing yet. I was only 5 or 6 years old, but I knew what the NES was, and I knew they had Mario. They had Mario 2 in particular, and I was so looking forward to going to their house and playing some Mario 2. I mean, the whole day I'm talking about it. And comes the time where we're about to go, so I can go to my aunt's and play. And my sister and my next door neighbor decide they want to have a race around the house. So I was like, okay, we have time. Mom's still getting ready. We can race around the house real quick. At this time, being a kid, I was barefooted outside like all kids. We go running around the house. We said first one to get around the house wins. We go for our lap. We get toward the finish line, and I step on something. And I don't know what it is at the time. It didn't really hurt. But then I look down, and there's blood everywhere. I'm like, okay, now I'm freaking out. I'm like a 6-year-old freaking out because I see blood everywhere. And turns out I had sliced my foot like on the bottom of it clean open from a old like Hot Wheels car that got detached. The metal came off of it. So like a metal car just scratched my foot all up. So of course, ruined Mom's date night, ruined my game night. I went to the hospital for stitches in my foot. And yeah, so there's a painful gaming memory that I remember. I was so looking forward to playing Mario, man. It was a heartbreaker. So yeah, Chance, top that one, man.
Well,
Two painful memories.
I can't really top that because I really don't have any real bad memories, I guess, other than like when my PS3 decided to format itself and I lost all my game saves.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was
No, you can do it. You can do happy
bad.
memories.
Happy memories. Like I mentioned earlier, just like it's more of a seasonal kind of thing, I guess. Like every year about this time, kind of late fall, early winter, Thanksgiving, holiday, Christmas season, I get in the mood to play certain games, and Pokemon is definitely one of those games. And I can remember, like when Gold and Silver came out, I got them for my birthday that year and just played them for months. And I used to, pretend to be sick to stay home to play these games. Like that's how bad it got. Like it was, and I'm sure other kids. I was gonna say, I'm sure other kids have done that with other games, and it's just, it's just what I did because I just had such a passion to play these games, and we didn't have, I didn't get a ton of games, but I can remember getting those games specifically. Like I can remember getting Red, Blue, one year. It might have even just been the very next year when Gold and Silver came out. I'm not sure, but good memories had by all. Yay.
Good memories from Pokemon.
Yep.
What about you, Dustin? Any memories come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, usually for Christmas, I'd usually get a video game, and I've already talked a lot about like the Christmas Story Christmas where I wanted an NES, and my parents said that that would just rot my brain and all that stuff, and come Christmas morning, I had an NES and a TV to go with it, so I could play it. So, but that, take the movie A Christmas Story and just remove the BB gun and put it in a Nintendo Entertainment System. You got that Christmas basically. But another Christmas was this was much later. I remember getting Resident Evil 2 for the N64 for Christmas.
Nice.
And I don't know if you guys have played the N64 version of Resident Evil 2, but the thing is a fucking marvel because how they fit those two discs on one N64 cartridge is just... And there's no loss in the voice acting. The cutscenes are, the resolution's a little bit lower. But it's the entire Resident Evil 2 on a cartridge. And you go to pick that cartridge up, and you need some friggin' upper body strength, because that is a heavy-ass cartridge. But I remember just being mesmerized by that game, and just being so impressed that it was on the N64, because, all you heard during that era was, oh, we can't make this game on the N64 because it's on a cartridge, And then, Capcom was just like, well, fuck that, we're going to put it on the cartridge. And they did, and it worked, so it was pretty amazing.
I forget all the different until the GameCube version came out. That was my favorite way to play it, was on the 64, because I think it had things that PlayStation didn't even have.
Yeah, because you could play
PlayStation
as
disc.
Hunk. You could play as Hunk and Tofu in the N64 version. I don't know if you could do on
more blood choices, I think, too. Maybe blood colors. I can't remember.
Yeah, because you can make the blood green because it's Nintendo and they can't have red blood. So you could have the red blood, but if you wanted green or blue blood, you could do that as well.
So that's pretty cool. Which another memory came to my mind. We can just go out of order here, so it doesn't matter to me. But I think one memory which we can probably all agree on is how just gaming in general with friends, like you made a lot of friends that way. I know I met one of my best friends to this day, Mr. Nice Guy, Damon Coles, just because he was sitting on the bus playing Golden Sun. We sat down beside each other and a friendship just kindled from there.
Game.
Oh yeah. Dustin's at a friend's house right now with 10 other people plus. He's missing out on the memory right now, but sounds like they're having a great time.
Yeah.
He'll still remember it as the day he missed 2.5 hours of it. But
well.
I think we can all agree that we've all had some special moments probably with friends when playing a game. Jason, do you recall any you probably had?
There was the one that comes to my mind the most. I already mentioned in my PlayStation Memories video. That was me and my roommate Bill sitting down to play Tomb Raider 2 on the original PlayStation, and we kind of like tag team that game. Every time one of us would get stuck, we'd pass the controller off to the other person, and then they'd play it for a while, and they got stuck or tired or whatever, and they'd pass it back, and we just went through the whole game like that, and it was great. It worked really really well.
Yeah. I've never tag team a game like that except once before in my whole life, and it was awesome actually. Resident Evil 4 with Mr. Nice Guy, and actually another friend of ours, two other friends wanted to watch us play through it. So it was 4 of us gathered together for a couple of days playing through Resident Evil 4. One of us would have a controller, one of us would have the guide, because I bought that too. And we would just play through that. And it was a blast, kind of playing through together, experiencing it with other people at the same time.
Yeah, that's always fun. I do like doing the single-player campaigns, like the tag team style, where you just pass it back and forth.
Mm-hmm. I will say this, though. I mentioned the World of Warcraft stuff, playing online and that. That's always cool memories with that. But one surprising one, I will say, is Chance will appreciate this. The first Call of Duty Modern Warfare, when it came out, I was a big Halo guy. Halo 3. I was always going to a buddy's house, playing that all the time. Then he brought up Call of Duty. I was like, no, I don't want to change games. I'm a Halo guy. I don't want to get involved in this new shooter. I played his copy of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 and immediately went out and bought it, came back, and that's what we played until about 4 in the morning that day. Because that game was so different from any other first-person shooter online. It just amazed me. The customization you could do with your weapons, the game types, it was just a blast. Chance, would you agree?
Yeah, no pun intended, but that was a game changer. Like, you didn't think of it, you didn't think of multiplayer or first-person shooter on a console like that until that game came out. On PC, they were way ahead of us, but console-wise, like, it was right on the money. It was so good when it came out. Because I was the same, like, total naysayer. Like, I was Halo 3 all the way. I didn't want to hear this crap about a Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
And the first time I saw it played, I was hooked and almost immediately bought it myself.
It was, and I've had so many memories just in matches from playing that, whether it's a snipe streak or throwing the later games, throwing a tomahawk across a map at the beginning and getting somebody. But just from the very first Call of Duty, I remember just me and my buddy would play it, and I would always keep my phone handy because he would go on these rants and tirades, just cussing the TV out and people online getting so mad that I would start recording him and playing it back to him and like, do you hear what you sound like, man? Do you hear what you're saying? I mean, it was some entertaining stuff, the things he was saying. So I had a little collection. I wish I should have had that prepared. I could have played some of his stuff through here, but I would have got his permission first because it is so great, some of the stuff he says. But yeah, good times there.
Steven, when you picked that up, was it still going for like $50 used at GameStop?
It was pretty much on the release. It came out in November, the year it came out. He got it on day one, and I came over to his house because it came out on a Tuesday, I think. I came over on a Friday, and I immediately turned and got it Friday. So it was probably, I think I bought a new copy at $60.
Oh, yeah, because I remember it was until pretty much the next game came out, it was like $40-50 for a used copy because the demand on it was so high.
Oh yeah, it was. I remember going in there, and I think Black Ops held its value for just as long too. The others didn't quite as well, but yeah, that game did hold its value for a while. It was awesome. I know Dustin's having a blast. We're talking about Call of Duty, Pokemon, and people are playing Smash behind them.
Well, I was sitting here thinking, like, you guys were talking about, like, video games with friends and making good memories, and this memory popped in my head of, I don't know, it's probably like 11 or something. I don't know how old we were, but I was over at a friend's house, and we were playing Primal Rage on the Sega Genesis, and we were just sitting there like, this is, like, the greatest fighting game ever, and such a ridiculous thought to have, Primal Rage.
I was going to say,
the best video game ever.
Might be like the 35th best fighter ever, but yeah, it's awesome.
But you can eat people and the monkey farts and yeah.
You triggered another one of mine. I don't want to keep triggering memories from you guys. I think I mentioned it in another podcast. I can't remember, but Mortal Kombat 3. I was talking to my wife about this the other day. How I don't remember things very well. Period. I just have a bad memory. But I do remember around 9 or 10 years old, staying at a buddy's house for a sleepover, and I don't remember anything about that night except that we played Mortal Kombat 3 because he got it for his birthday on the Super Nintendo for hours and hours. We couldn't believe it because it was like a mature game with blood, and we're sitting there ripping heads off. We're like, whoa, we can't believe you got this. But we just had endless amounts of fun with that game, mashing buttons to get fatalities. The only one we got to see, I think, was Sub-Zero's and Liu Kang's get mashed out. But because back then, like we said, you don't got no internet or anything, so you don't know how to do these things. But it was just a blast. Good old sleepovers. Haven't had one of those since I was at Dustin's house a year ago.
There you go.
Yeah, we had a blast playing that game too. We had the like a Nintendo Power or strategy guide for it or something. But it unlocked all the codes for it, so you could do all the fatalities and stuff. And yeah, we enjoyed the hell out of that game too.
Is that what? Did I have a code for one button fatalities? I couldn't remember. I thought there was one that had one in it.
I don't remember. I remember it had like the app where you hit like 6 different buttons to kind of cycle the codes through. It was really weird.
Down at the bottom. Yeah, the little. I know 3 on your side and 3 on the other side, like the other controller had to do it.
Yeah.
And hope they would match up with you.
Yeah.
So Chance, let's go back to you, man. Any other memories you'd like to share?
Well, I mean, a lot of them, are semi-adulthood memories. Like I remember when I first moved out of my parents' house, and we had a place. We lived with like 2 or 3 other guys, and there was 2 Xboxes, and just playing the crap out of Halo 1 and 2, and just constantly playing those games. Not online. This was just purely, a LAN type of thing. We'd have our little bitty, like 20-inch TV with, 4-player split screen on that thing. So you had to be sitting like right in front of it to see your little square of that screen. And it was just always so much fun to play. I had such great memories of, especially Halo 1. Like, I will still stand by. That's like my favorite Halo multiplayer, is just playing with friends on Halo 1 was just a blast. I just loved Hang 'em High. It was one of the best maps to play multiplayer, or Blood Gulch, or Rat Race.
Everyone running around with pistols.
Yeah. Like, because that pistol was the boss of that game. Who needs a sniper rifle? You got the Magnum.
Sniper rifle or a pistol? Pistol.
Yeah, you could take out anybody with that pistol, because that Magnum round was just so good. And just the memories of just playing with those guys just constantly is really great. It sucks because I haven't seen most of those guys since I lived in that house. So yeah.
Well, I got a question. I got a question that might trigger memories for you.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the first game you went to a midnight launch for, and what it was?
Oh,
Jason, did you go to any?
Never have, but I've shown up. Well, when I used to go to GameStop, I've shown up, right at opening of 9, 10 o'clock in the morning to get my game. But yeah, I've never gone to a midnight launch.
Oh man, Chance, midnight launch. Halo 4 was your first one.
That was first and only. I haven't done it since.
Oh wow! So how was your experience there then?
Well, okay, you kind of got to understand the area that I live in. I went to a midnight launch at a Walmart, and there was about 7 or 8 other people there. So it wasn't anything special. And we were lined up at the photo department, like where you get film developed. That's where the line was. So,
crack another kegger, guys. Let's do this.
It was a very lackluster experience. Walked up to the counter and said, "Yeah, give me one of those," and I paid for it, and I went home.
And it was in a Walmart, so it was probably some kid like in Christmas Story with an airplane hat on, asking you weird questions the whole time.
I like
Santa.
I like the Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. I like the Wizard of Oz.
How fitting. I'm in Kansas. Ha ha ha.
What about you, Dustin? Do you remember your first? Or go ahead, Jason.
Oh, I remember going to GameStop for, I believe it was Guitar Hero 3, and it was like 9, 10 in the morning. And they had scheduled a bunch of people for the midnight launch. So the person who opened that day had to work by himself. And there was just tons of people in there, going to pick up that game. And this poor guy is trying to deal with returns and pre-orders and all this other stuff. And all these people are waiting in line for Guitar Hero 3. I just felt so bad for the guy.
Wow. But now you don't feel bad for any GameStop person, all right?
I feel bad for the employees, not for the store.
What about you, Destin? You remember your first midnight launch?
It was either the Nintendo GameCube itself or Halo 2, whatever came out first.
You know what? I can't
I'm not sure
remember
which
one did.
Yeah, but I remember I was hanging out with this girl and we were watching a movie, and I was like, well, I can only stay here till about 11:30 because I gotta go to the mall and get my game. And she's like, can I go to the mall?
I want to hear the
to get a
GameCube
game?
story. If you remember the GameCube one, that sounds like it'd
Well,
be
I remember
cooler.
the GameCube story too. Well, it's
Okay.
not, because it's a lot like Chance's in that I went to a Walmart to get
You
it.
went to a Walmart?
This was this was back when I was young and dumb, and like I would go there at midnight to get like the new movie releases and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Star Wars is coming out on Tuesday. I gotta go there, Tuesday night, or Monday night at midnight to get it.
I worked at a job till like 2
So
in the morning sometimes, and yeah, that would be the place to go to buy things, so I wouldn't have to come back out
Yeah.
the next day.
And it wasn't even like pre-orders didn't really exist at that point in time at Walmart. So you just kind of showed up and you kind of hoped. So it was like me and like, I don't know, 7 other people that were dumb enough to do this. And I walked out of there with a black GameCube. I was very happy with myself.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
And then you had the Halo one. You were with the girl. You said,
Yeah. And she's like, I was like, yeah, it's just, me being, I'm just a nerdy. And she's like, no, I want to go to this. I want to see what this is all about. So we went there, and she was just, like, beside herself because she didn't realize, because, Halo 2, when it came out, was a big deal.
Yeah.
And there was a ton of people at this. I don't think it was GameStop at the time. It might have been Babbage's. I can't remember which store.
yeah, I think it was Babbage's
because-
back at that time, or EB. Could have been one.
Yeah.
EB too.
No, because I don't ever remember our store going to EB.
Okay.
It went to like Babbage's, and then I think it went to something else, and then it went to GameStop. But it never went to EB. But I could be completely wrong. Maybe it just went straight from Babbage's to GameStop. I can't remember. But she was just like, this is like she wasn't into it like in like the video game sense. She was just into it like in the people watching sense. And she's like, this is like the coolest thing ever. So it was pretty fun to take like a person who knows nothing about the culture into that. So
Well,
but
mine
yeah, it was either
was
GameCube or it was Halo 2.
well, mine was a Halo one as well. It was Halo 3 was my first one. I want to say at the time I was there first thing in the morning, like Jason, was SOCOM. The very first SOCOM that came out. I was there before the store opened, and it was at EB Games in my area at the time, and I was there waiting at the door for them to open the door so I could get that game. Because at the time, being on a console, I had never heard of being able to control things with a headset. I'm like, this is going to be so cool. Ordering my trooper rounds with the voice, and it worked okay, I guess. But I'll always remember that. But yeah, Halo 3 was my first midnight. And man, the line back then was huge. It was a great turnout. They had Halo 2 up on a screen where we could all go and play. And I remember my next one being, I think it was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Because after the first one came out, we were hooked on it. So when the second one came out, and you talk about a line, the line for that was insane. I couldn't believe it. I actually remember taking a video recording on my phone of it, and it was just unbelievable how many people were there for that game. But that was a good time too, because again, they had some TVs hooked up, they brought pizza around, and it was a good time. They treated us nice. But of course, all those games were in November, so you're always a little cold here in my part of the woods during that time. But it's all worth it. It was a good time. Never did a system at midnight though. That would have been fun.
Yeah, I remember freezing, waiting on getting Skyrim. That was a fun time.
Oh, I can't remember the last one. I think the last game, I keep saying I'm going to go to midnight to get these games, and then I wound up falling asleep like last night. I wanted to go get smashed, but I fell asleep. It might have been Resident Evil 6, but as soon as I got it, I come home and I know. As soon as I get it, I come home and fall asleep anyway, so I never get to play it when I get it. Because I'm too old and tired. So, Anyone got any one last memory they'd like to share before we wrap it up?
I remember getting Final Fantasy 3, which is really 6, yes, I know, for Christmas, and then, like, running upstairs to play it, and being a complete idiot and not, kids don't read manuals before they put the game in. They just put them in and play. And I thought in this game, all you had to do to save was walk through the save point, because it made that little ding sound, like a little ding, to save. And so I was like, all right, it's saved. I moved on. And, of course, somewhere along the way, I either died or I think I did die. Or maybe I just stopped playing and was like, oh, I'll just pick it up where I left off, What do I know? Dragon Quest, you got to talk to somebody to save your game, so who knows? And booted it back up and started right back at the beginning going, something didn't happen right. So I had to go into the manual and see that, oh, no, I actually have to go into the menu and select save to save my game. So that was pretty funny.
Wow. That is a good one.
Because I played that one before I played Final Fantasy 2. So, yeah.
What about you, Jason? You got any more tucked away in there you want to let go? One more for us?
I got a pretty quick one. I don't know if any of you guys remember the whole Y2K scare back in yeah. My buddy Bill was like really, really paranoid about that and was like, oh my God, everything's going to shut off at midnight and people are going to be rioting and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go to Funcoland and pick up a Super Nintendo. And while you're freaking out over nothing, I'm going to be playing Donkey Kong Country 2 and Super Castlevania 4 and ActRaiser and having the time of my life. And, that's exactly what I did. I stayed up till like 4 or 5 in the morning, just enjoying some Super Nintendo goodness. It was the first time I actually owned the Super Nintendo. And I don't know what he was doing that night, but, I had a blast.
Nice.
I miss Funko Lands. They were nice.
Me too.
Maybe, yeah. That's where I got my Dragon Warrior 2 and Dragon Warrior 3 was at Funko Land.
Oh yeah, I made many trips to Funko Land back in the Genesis and early PS1 days.
I remember going to like Toys R Us, and you had to the Toys R Us that we'd go to. The video games were like you didn't pull a video game, you pulled a card off of the wall, and then you had to take it back to like watching movies now where I see pawn shops and pawnbrokers or these really shady places. It reminds me of the video game place at Toys R Us back in the day, because the guy who would get you the game was behind a cage, and you had to slide the card through this opening in the cage, and he would go get the game and bring it back to you and slide it back under the cage. At the time in the 80s, you didn't think about it, but looking back on it now, it seems like, you were illicitly buying drugs or something. I don't know. Strange.
Wow. I had a memory today. I went to GameStop to get an old game that was called Cubic Ninja for $3, and turns out it's $40 now pre-owned.
Oh. Yeah, were you trying to hack your 3DS?
No, I'm not going to, but I just thought it was funny that it's popular now, so let's jack the price up to $40. When my Target I went to had about 10 copies at $10, so
I'm gonna wait till the 3DS no longer gets updated, and then I'll start worrying about the whole homebrew hacking thing.
Well, supposedly this Cubic Ninja thing, it doesn't matter what firmware you have; it'll still get around it somehow. It doesnn't take firmware into account or something, from what I was reading.
Oh, I'm sure it will in the future.
Yeah, probably.
They're gonna catch wind of it and find out, but that's why the PSP is still the system for me when it comes to that.
Yeah,
PSP is fucking amazing.
I can't wait until they hack the 3DS, because then I might actually get to play Dragon Quest 7.
There you go.
Well, until Square Enix throws a lawsuit on the translators.
Oh yeah, and then they're gonna put the game on the PS4.
No, PS5.
By then it'd be
See
PS5.
what happens. Chance, you got any other memory you'd like to share?
It's funny that you bring up Y2K, because I can remember what I was doing at the exact moment. and I was playing Pokemon Red.
Man, see, Pokemon is just instilled in your veins. That is
I
your
think you
game.
guys underestimate how much I played this game in the past. Like it died down for a few years, but this was my go-to game. This and Doom was about all I played for a long time.
The two extreme ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Were good two games. Nothing in between.
His YouTube name could have been Pokemon Waves.
Yeah.
Pikachu
Pokey
Waves.
Waves.
Well, and would you
awful.
believe it that one of my favorite Pokemon is Houndoom?
If I knew who he was, sure, but I believe you.
Houndoom is just like a dog with the name Doom in his name, and he's like got these like devil horns, and he's a fire dark type. He's pretty awesome.
Well, I'm glad you're so back into it now. Ever since the last podcast, and all your hype for the game has been making me excited to want to play another game in a series like Heart Gold. I'm keeping an eye out for that because that sounds like the one to get.
Well, unless you get it like from somebody, you're gonna pay for it. Like it's like a $40 game at GameStop. Like it's brand new price for a
and it won't even be
copy.
in the case there.
Yep, nope. Card only.
Yeah,
copy, it costs you brand new.
Aren't all the games like that?
Yeah, well, like you can get like I think it's White 2. The last DS one is like $25 for a brand new copy at GameStop still. Like you can get it for $25, but that's kind of one of those like it was so weird when it came out, like, and it's not that much different than White 1, so it's like it didn't sell really well, and the 3DS was already out at that point, so it's like it just kind of came out at a weird time. So it's really cheap still, but the rest of them are like $40 across the board.
Yeah. And we're at the end of the podcast, and your mic just became crystal clear right at the end. It's been fine the whole time. I think it's funny.
I haven't changed anything. Like, I'm still talking the same that I have this whole time. So.
And it just went back to where it was. So for a brief moment, we heard your true voice. So
a brief moment of clarity.
Well, Jason, man, it was great sharing memories with you. So sorry about all the audio delays in the show and just all the problems with tonight, man. But we were still glad to have you on here to chat.
Oh, no problem. I had a great time chatting with you guys. Hope to be back again sometime in the future.
Yeah.
Also, if you haven't already, people, we'll leave a link below. Bawesome he does amazing reviews on your classic games. What was your newest one you just did? Baiten Kaitos, or did you do one after that? Baiten Kaitos?
Yeah, I did Batten Kaitos for the GameCube.
Kaitos, yeah.
Underrated RPG. Check it out.
Yeah. Check out all his videos.
Also.
Yeah. Monolith, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Monolith Soft.
Yeah.
So go check him out because he puts a lot of work into his reviews he puts gameplay and everything. They look real professional. So check him out, and he covers some good classics. So again, thanks for coming. And Dustin, you are free.
I can smash now?
You can smash. At the end of this, I'm going to...
Ernie's going to be like, dude, you're still here. Thought you left hours ago.
And I want to thank all you guys for taking time away from Smash for me.
Oh, no problem, man.
Yeah.
I didn't even.
Welcome.
Hey, you're not taking me away from any Smash. I didn't get it.
I'm sure. I'm sure you'll get it sometime, Chance.
Chance, this is where I wish I had the audio clip of what Team Spooky plays at the end of their episodes on Twitch. You're all free now. Yay! When he punches through the brick wall on the prison. Anyways, you're all free now, listeners. Thanks for listening. See you guys.
Sticker Star rules.
That is not going in there. We're not ending on that. Bye for real this time.
Sticker Star rules.